Okay, this is the Hermit here at the cloister at Three Creeks, and really not at Three Creeks, but hiking in the area nearby on a trail where I have to watch my footing because I'm crossing a boardwalk over a creek. I wanted to make this video as a supplement to the extremely super long video in which I introduced the idea or the revelation I had that some spirit, some supernatural voice told me I need a house. And the more I've been thinking about it, well, first of all, I didn't say in that video that I will build that house in the area that was shown where I was talking, somewhere on that slope between St. Francis and the seat I was sitting at. The house will be a house of contemplation and worship at the cloister at Three Creeks. Worship is a very broad term. Prayer, to me, is an extremely broad term. Sorry I can't look at the camera and talk at the same time when I'm hiking, but this is hiking is what I do, and talking while I'm hiking isn't necessarily what I do. Gotta watch my footing because I don't have great balance. So, I have been thinking seriously. As I think I announced, I am planning to hike the Way of St. James. St. James being the elder, the apostle of Jesus, one of the three who witnessed Jesus' transfiguration. And I've been thinking about that. He appeared suddenly to those three apostles. The other two, coincidentally, are Peter and John. That's my first and middle name. My parents named me for a reason. I am trying to find my route here on this trail. So the three apostles that were witness to Jesus' transfiguration include St. James and my names, my personal names. And St. James is the name attributed or associated with the Way of St. James, the trail across Europe. And I'm planning on hiking from the Wetzel origin land in northwestern Poland, a town called Gryfice, formerly in German, when the Germans lived there before the Polish took over after, I think, World War II. It was called Greifenberg. It's where my grandfather took his apprenticeship before he came to America in 1910. And it's where the Wetzel family surname originated. All the Wetzels that we know about that we're related to came from there. So I'm hiking the Way of St. James from Greifenberg and the Baltic Sea coast to Santiago de Compostela via the, in Poland it's called the Droga SW Jakuba. In Germany it's called Jakobsweg. In France it's called the Chemin de Saint-Jacques. In Switzerland it's called the Via Jacobi, or Jacobi, Via Jacobi. In Spain it's called the Camino Santiago. And it doesn't, for me, end at the Cathedral of St. James, the de Compostela, but I'm going to Finisterre, the end of the land, the coast. So I'm going from the Baltic coast in Poland to the Atlantic coast at northwestern Spain. And it's a pilgrimage, totally. And the purpose of the pilgrimage is to understand my relationship with this supernatural that people call God. And I am of the opinion, or I want to ask the question on my pilgrimage. What is the way of salvation? How does one reconcile one's life with the greater universe, with God, with whatever's there as the supreme ultimate? Okay, how does one get salvation? Well, there's no question in my mind that Jesus, who died, took the hit for you, for me, for us, and still trying to find this trail is not that well used. It is a trail, it's marked, but I'm not watching where I'm going that well, so clear that Jesus died for our sins, took the hit, took the punishment that we deserved. Whether his way is the only way to salvation, well, I have sought with doors open to the Judeo-Christian God and never got a call. When I began exploring the idea of a theoretical or fictitious God with kind of more general attributes or applicability to people, say, on other planets and other worlds, that's when I got this one vision or one voice speaking to me saying I need a house. So it sort of tells me that there's more than one way to salvation, and I think the Buddha had essentially exactly the same message. You follow the right path in life. You do what's tried and true, what's right, and you will find relief from dukkha, from suffering. And that is the same as salvation. I'm not coming to a piece of trail where I'm going to have to use my hands. The point of this, so I'm going to show you the gnarly trail I'm going to be going down instead of talking with my face in the camera. Hopefully I can do this and still keep the camera rolling. The Buddha had a way of salvation. I believe there are plenty of other religions that also provide a valid way of salvation, and I think that a universal God has not rejected one form of salvation in favor of another. I think that's a human attribute. Humans like to claim territory. They like to get control. And that misguidedly leads them to, okay, I'll show you me again, huh? That misguidedly leads them to claim their way is the way. I want to listen, I want to keep an open mind, but I believe the way to salvation is broader, and the house that I build is meant to be open to people who are trying to find their way via accepting Jesus, via following the Eightfold Path. And I'm sorry that I do not have enough knowledge about other religions to describe their roads to salvation, but every religion has a road, and of course a road is a pilgrimage, and taking a physical pilgrimage is a great way to focus on that. This is a gnarly, rocky trail, folks, so I will keep kind of hemming and hawing as I go along here and trying to navigate the rocks and talk about deep philosophical ideas. I'm going to build a house. It's going to be a very small little thing, even less pretentious than the portiuncula that St. Francis of Assisi rebuilt following his vision from Jesus that I talked about in my last long 25-minute post, and this one's turning out to be another long one. Here I need to use my hands. But it's it and the pilgrimage, building that house and the pilgrimage are my new calling, or my new understanding of my calling. And one is stationary at the cloister at Three Creeks. This trail is becoming easier. Look at the gnarly stuff, huh? It's all red blazed. It's a red blaze trail, but look at where it went, huh? And it's now gonna ease up and be a little bit more relaxed. And I'll be able to wrap this up. One thing that is always been my calling is walking, and the Camino De Santiago seems like what's calling me next, now that I've sort of finished the mission of more selfish personal mission of hiking to all the trails I've ever, all the addresses I've ever lived at. They're all connected in the US. Now I go to Europe and I connect ancestral homes with spiritual locations, which there are many, many of along the Camino De Santiago, or the Way of St. James, and all the different names it's given. Okay, here the trail is so steep that I worry about loose gravel. Let's just shut up and end this video. The trail is taking up this really steep old woods road and heading down it at a steep angle. So the hermit at the cloister at Three Creeks is hoping to build a house and hoping to go on the road again. Tentatively in 2023, hiking the Camino de Santiago, over 3,500 kilometers total distance. I'll be starting probably in early April and may not finish until November. We'll see. I may not be strong enough to do it as fast as I think I can anymore. Every year I get a little older, of course, and right now I'm turning 73. Okay, so building a house and being a pilgrim, stationary at the cloister at Three Creeks and on the trail as I have been for decades. Okay, the hermit here with another long post, signing off from a steep trail above the cloister at Three Creeks. Take care. I just wanted to also make an addition to the 14-minute video. I'm going to start hiking because I've got a ways to go yet. The addition is this. How does one live a way to obtain salvation? Well, I think, the Buddha had the way. It's kind of like common sense is you live a life that has low impact on the universe, which has been provided to you by the greater power. Tread lightly. Don't use more than you need to. Leave things better than you found them. It's all common sense. And I'm not always living the way I'm preaching, or the way the common sense tells you to do. I do too much in terms of, well, I just went to Switzerland and I flew an airplane. I think I probably used 2 or 3 tons of carbon flying to and from Switzerland. Yeah, you know, I should have taken a sailboat like Greta Thunberg does. Maybe when I hike the Camino De St. James, Camino De Santiago, the Way of St. James, Jakobsweg, all the names it has, maybe I will travel from America to Europe via a sailboat. Wouldn't that be cool? It's a question of whether you can get a sailboat and how much you'd have to pay and all that. Anyhow, just wanted to add that sort of common sense message that I kind of left out. The way to salvation is not something that is exclusive to accepting a great leader as the only way. And I just can't, you know, I've listened for a message like that or some similar message and haven't had one, so haven't been called to accept such a message. Anyhow, I'm repeating stuff that I already said, and you got the idea, I'm pretty sure. Alright, so the hermit here, leaving the waterfall and hiking on a just gorgeous day, a Sunday, in the woods up above the cloister at 3 Creeks. Take care.